welcome to Revelations of a Delusional Knitter. I'm Angela, your host. This is episode 144, and it is Wednesday, November 30th, 2016. On to updates and housekeeping. Welcome if you are new. If you are returning, I thank you as always, and either way, hope you enjoy and continue to watch the show. The show is on iTunes, YouTube, delusionalknitter.com, and I also post an embedded link in the Ravelry group, Revelations of Delusional Knitter. And I am also on Instagram as Delusional Knitter. It is the 30th again, so apparently the 30th of every month is when I record now. I don't know what's happening. Declarations. What's been going on? Not much. It was really warm until November 20th, and that was actually when I noted it, because I noted it in my bullet journal, and then all of a sudden it got cold the next day. So apparently I jinxed it. But it was like warm, like, you know, high 50s, 60s, really nice, sunny. The last several days, it has been gray and dark and rain and like 40, so freezing. Cold, dreary, dark, disgusting. I ran some errands earlier this morning, so now my hair looks like this, and I have given up. 2 seconds ago, I went to check the camera placement. I realized I had run my hand through my hair, and it was sticking up every which way, so it probably is again, or I may do that in the middle of the podcast. I apologize. But that's how it goes. So Thanksgiving happened, and that was fun. I had it off. First time since I've been dispatching, so that was nice. I still am not quite certain that my husband's family understands my schedule. It's quite easy to understand. We work 4 on, 2 off. That's how it goes. Unless there's overtime on your day off, that's your schedule. And quite a few of them were like, "Oh, how'd you get Thanksgiving off?" And I'm like, "It's my regular day off." "Oh, they let you have Thanksgiving off?" "No, it's my regular day off." "Oh, how'd you get the day off?" I'm like, "Oh my god." I don't know. Yeah, I got it off. I don't know. But that was fun. Good food. It's nice to see everybody. My husband's cousin and his family came up from Florida, so that was nice, because I think the last time we saw them was last Thanksgiving, which I didn't have the day off. I ended up going after work, and it was horrible, and I will never do it again, because I was so tired that it was just not even worth it. And so I was really happy to have it off this year so I could go the normal time with everybody else. My friends and I went to see Doctor Strange, and that was really good. I enjoyed that one a lot, and I really liked the end with the big boss guy. I don't want to give away any spoilers if you plan on seeing that. And it was funny because usually my friend Reggie and I go. We had invited Reggie to go see The Shining with us, but he couldn't make it. So he invited Brian to see Doctor Strange, and we went. Brian and I are late to everything all the time. We used to work together, and we were both always late to work. And Brian beat both of us there, which was absolutely amazing, because he had like an hour drive like I did, so that was just funny. And he was very proud of himself all day. The fact that he beat both of us there was on time. I was late. I'm usually not, but when Reggie told me the time was 8:45, I thought he meant we were meeting there at 8:45. No, he meant the movie started at 8:45. I got there at 9. However, I only missed like the first 2 minutes, so it was okay. And we had breakfast. That's the place we go. That's the cinema pub, so that was fun. And it looks like there's a lot of overtime for December, which is not surprising where I work. But so I don't even know if I'm going to get to record in December. Perhaps it will be on the 30th again. I don't know. But we'll have to see how that goes. Revelations. I do have some FOs to show you. So on the last show, I was almost done with these socks, and I actually finished them later that day. So these were the Caution Bird Area socks, which was part of the Super Sock Scare Fest. And I finished those, and they came out awesome, and I really like them. So they mirror each other with a lace pattern, and I had dyed this yarn up previously, and it didn't work for the project I dyed it for, but it works great for these socks. So I'm really happy with these. The fit is really good, and I like them a lot. I've been having a little bit of trouble lately with socks. So now these are 60 stitches, and this is Knit Picks yarn, which I usually knit fairly tightly, like 9 to 10 stitches per inch. So I can usually do socks in Knit Picks at 64 stitches, and they fit fine, because I'm really not a medium-sized foot, but I'm also not a small foot. I'm kind of in between. So if I have thicker yarn, I usually have to go down a size, and then those fit me fine. Now, these fit fine, but I'm wondering if it's because there's lace. So they're going to stretch out a little bit more than a regular stockinette sock. But I had done another pair of socks with 60 stitches, and those seem to fit fine. The Stitch Surfers are 60 stitches, and those fit fine. They're a tiny bit snug, but they're fine. But I'm wondering, I don't even know where I put them, but the Stitch Surfers have a wrap and turn thing, so there's kind of a little bit of a gap that probably encompasses like 1 or 2 stitches. So I'm wondering if that's why those fit so fine. I went to do the second pattern, not the second pattern, but the second one I was going to do for Super Sock Scarefest, because there were a lot of patterns, maybe 10. And I decided to go ahead and do 60 stitches again. Well, they were a little too snug. Like, I think not quite comfortable snug. And of course you can block them, but every time you wash them, they typically revert back to the smaller size. So I don't know. I might rip these out. Because I also had some issues with the second one. Because I did colors, the pattern just calls for yarn, you know, there's not colors. I did this because I was going to run out of yarn, but I wanted to use this yarn. So I used another color to, you know, maximize my yardage there. But, so I wanted to put the beginning of the round where the color change was on the inside of the second sock, which means I had to adjust the heel flap. In doing so, I don't know if I dropped a stitch or skipped something or whatever, but I'm short a stitch now. And I have to go back and figure out where it was, but I'm still thinking that these are a little too snug, and I'm not going to like wearing them, so I might rip them out and just give up, because the Super Sock Scarefest is over anyway, and the second sock is only up to starting the heel flap, so I might just give up. I also wanted to start over again. Last year, I think it was, I was trying to do just plain vanilla socks with this yarn, because this is Nightmare Before Christmas, or some sort of reference to Nightmare Before Christmas from Play It Like Fiber Arts. However, when I had done this sock, I did 64 stitches, and this sock is about 1 inch too wide. So I don't know. Sometimes you have duds with socks. Sometimes they just don't work out. This yarn is definitely thicker than Knit Picks, so that may be the problem, but I mean, honestly, I'm wondering in this yarn, I think I could even go down to like 56 stitches, because if I put this sock on, I literally have like 1 inch. Like, here's my foot, and this is all extra over here. It's crazy. So I'm not quite sure what happened here, but I wanted to start them over again and figure out what I needed to do. I did a quick gauge on it, and it looks like 8 stitches an inch, so I should be able to do 60. But this doesn't seem like getting rid of only 4 stitches, right? I don't know. I don't know. I should just finish my Stitch Surfer, because that was actually working, and then figure out something else for socks later. I don't know why. Sometimes that happens to me. I'll knit like 5, 10 pairs of socks, no problem, and then all of a sudden I have all these issues with socks, and I don't understand it, but that's what's happening right now. So, we'll see how that goes. I have another FO. This is Mao, which is Chinese for cat, and it's just a little cat stuffy. It's super cute, and I embroidered a little face on him. This is a fun pattern. You make one ear, and then you make the other ear, and then you join them, and then you increase and decrease, and you do a little I-cord tail, and it's really a cute little pattern. That's a really quick knit. That's all I have, and that's really all I've been working on, because I was fighting with a sock. String theory. I have an FO. First, I wanted to show you again the yarn I showed you the last time that was wet, because it is no longer wet. This was the BFL and C-Cell from Wool Gatherings, so this is the finished skein, which is not all wet and sloppy, and it came out awesome. I really like it. It's about a worsted weight, I think. I haven't actually measured it, but I really like spinning that a lot. I spun this up on the Traveler, and it was a lot of fun. The next one I have is some Falkland from Into the World, and what I did was a traditional 3-ply. So I took the whole braid and I just split it, I guess that would be vertically, no, horizontal, whatever. I took the braid and I split it into 3 chunks. Not down, but across. That's horizontally. I don't know what's happening today, sorry. And then I spun them on 3 bobbins, and then I plied them together, and that's how you get this. I did not wash this yet, but it was pretty balanced because I actually left it plied on the bobbin for a few days before or maybe a day before I wound it off. But it wasn't all crazy wonky when I pulled it off, so I haven't washed it yet. But I love how that came out, and that was a lot of fun. And that's how you get that cool barber poling, but you also get it with the 3 different colors in it, so it's a lot of fun. I like the Falkland a lot. It's a little bit less smooth than like your merino or your BFL, but it's certainly next to skin. Like it would make a nice hat, it would make a nice cowl. I did find it interesting because I usually try to do a little bit of notes on my spinning, and I look up the sheep breed in the Fleece and Fiber source book. Falkland's not in there. So then I did a little bit of investigating. And it looks to me like Falkland isn't actually a breed, but it's sheep from the Falkland Isles. So it could be certain types of breeds or combinations of breeds or something to that effect. So it's more of a area that they come from. I have like really lacking words today. I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening. Like a geographical location rather than a breed kind of thing is all I could get out of it. And like I said, I very briefly looked it up. So I don't know. I'll have to look into that some more. And I have another FO, which was some Icelandic from Blaine Fleece and Fiber. And what I did was I got 1 ounce each. I think I showed them on the last podcast of each of her 3 Icelandic sheep. And I spun them all up separately and I applied them together. And it was a lot of fun. They were very different. Mikey, I found, was my favorite, and I also found that he spun up almost like top. So what I spun of him, and I still have some on the bobbin here, it was very, very consistent and very easy to draft. It was almost like spinning pre-drafted roving. I mean, pre-drafted top, like really thin, drafted top. That's what it was like, and his roving was very thin. Then I spun up Panda Bear, which I have no more of, which was very much like roving. There would be sections that were longer, and then chunks of shorter fibers, which is what roving is. It's supposed to be like that, so that was fine. And then I spun up Black Velvet. Both Black Velvet and Panda Bear's roving were a lot thicker in diameter than Mikey's, so both of them came out with less yardage on the bobbin, obviously, but I do have a tiny bit of Black Velvet left. She also spun more consistently than Panda Bear, but I couldn't spin her as thin as Mikey, because if I drafted out too much, it would split, because it's not top, it's roving. So you're really not even supposed to spin it like this, but you know, it would have probably been a lot easier to spin Panda Bear with the long draw type method, a woolen type method, but I was doing pretty much a short forward draw. So but she also spun up very nicely and more consistent than Panda Bear, but like I said, not as thin or consistent as Mikey. However, when I applied them together, all of that went away, and it looks fine to me. It looks pretty even and consistent. There are some chunks or plies that are a little uneven, but on the whole, I'm very happy with the yarn, and I think it looks very consistent. So there's some ties sticking out in there, but that's how it came out. And clearly Black Velvet has dominated here, because you can see all of her longer black outer coat sticking out there. And I don't know if the camera picks it up, but this almost looks like a marbled skein, because I have the ply of Mikey, which is the lightest, then the ply of Panda Bear, which is like a very light gray, and then Black Velvet, which is the darker gray, which you can really see hers pop. So that's how that came out. But it was really fun, and I enjoyed it a lot. And it was a lot of fun to kind of do a little mini breed study. I ended up with 58 yards of what to me looks like a worsted. It's still actually damp because I just washed it last night, but I have to hang it back up. But it was super fun. That was really cool. I enjoyed it a lot. So I did also have a little bit of trouble. I was spinning that and applying it on the Cassandra, which I also did the Falkland on. So it's not the wheel. I think it was a combination of me plus roving, because roving and I don't always get along. As I said, I spun it short forward draw, which is really not meant for rowing. But for example, Panda Bear's bobbin, which Panda Bear was much more like roving than the other two, had lots of pigtails on it because for whatever reason it wasn't winding on properly. So when I was plying, because there were pigtails that were like that long, when I would draft out from the other two bobbins, Panda Bear's pigtail would come out and I would have an excess of like this from one ply, and then they would kind of get a little tangled up on each other. So that's my fault for not paying attention while the bobbin was winding and taking care of that while it was there. The other thing is that this wheel, the way it's put together, which is absolutely fine and completely normal for this setup, when you stop treadling, sometimes the wheel and the bobbin backtrack a little bit depending on where the footmen are on the crank, because they go to a rest, like a weighted rest, and that kept happening while I was plying. So it would unwind the bobbin a little bit, and then I'd have to wind it again, because I would end up with my arm back here, because I would have this huge length, because some of it came up the bobbin when I stopped to unwind my plies or fix a coil or something like that. So it was a little annoying, but a lot of it my fault for not paying attention to what I was doing. For example, my Traveler, if you stop treadling, the wheel just stops, or it continues on in the same direction for a second or two until it hits where you're holding the yarn, and then it stops. And it's just because they're just set up differently. That's just how it works, because the Cassandra is similar to my road bug. My road bug works the same way. When you stop treadling, the crank keeps going in one direction or the other, depending on which weight it wants to go, but that's just what happens. Otherwise, it was a very fun spin, and those things are easily adjusted if I pay more attention. I did get back to the merino on the road bug, so hopefully you'll see that sometime soon. It's going to take forever because I'm spinning it super, super thin. And that's it for string theory for this episode. For scrolls, I have nothing. For testaments, I have nothing, which is probably a good thing. Intentions. I finally got to release Pinguino. Not because I knit up another sample, because our friends, the one that I made them for, the wife of this couple, the husband needed to borrow something from my husband, so they called the other day, and he said, hey, are you guys home? It was like the day after Thanksgiving, I think. Can we stop by and pick this thing up, blah, blah, blah. And we were like, sure. So I had to weave the ends in on one mitt, because I had only woven them in on one already, since they were coming, but they lived like an hour away, so I had plenty of time to do that. And then I was working, so I hopped in the shower early, got dressed for work, and then they showed up, and I still had like an hour before I had to go to work, so we were just chatting and stuff, and I gave her her mitts, and I said, I just need photos for the pattern, please, because they're the ones that, I'm sorry, I just smashed my tablet into the desk, they're the ones that often get me photos for my patterns when we meet up, because they actually know what they're doing with the camera, unlike me and my husband. My husband's pretty good, but we are not to their scale. So Pinguino has been released. Those are her sample mitts. And the pattern also includes instructions for more traditional length mitts. This is what she wanted. So I wrote up a pattern to knit her these specifically. But I have also written the pattern so that you can make mitts that are more like, you know, they start here. A more traditional length. So that's fun. Yeah, see their photos? Their photos are way better than stuff I could have gotten. And I have a coupon code for 25% off. I have extended it for the podcast because I'm recording the day before it originally expired. So if you use the coupon code GIFT, all in lowercase, GIFT, GIFT, you can get 25% off Pinguino until December 5th. And I will be working on, I wanted to do some colorwork socks for another design, so I have to go dig out the yarn I bought, God knows when, and wind that up and start working on those socks. I do have a yarn review. Louet sent me some yarn to review. It's their gems base. I opted for the worsted weight, and I got two colors. So Gems comes in Fingering Sport and Light Worsted, and it's available in 29 solid colors. So you pretty much have the whole spectrum of the rainbow, plus different shades of those colors. And it's 100% merino, however, it's machine washable and dryable. It is custom spun for Louet, and it's worsted spun with a tight twist to minimize pilling while maintaining high elasticity. Then it's steamed to give it a soft touch, and that combination allows for excellent stitch definition. Also, given all of that, it's excellent for baby stuff. It's excellent for stuff that you're going to wear a lot, like a sweater, or mitts, or a hat even, because you pull the hat on and off your head a lot, so if you have a yarn that would pill a lot, that would probably not be good. Plus, you know, rains, you get snow on your hat, whatever. So it would be good for all those things. I bet it would even make really good house socks. So what I have, here's the tag. I opted for, in addition to color, these are also my favorite flavors, lavender and mint. That would be a really good tea, wouldn't it? I have wound them up because I'm getting ready to knit with them. So this is what the yarn looks like. As you can see, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous yarn. It's super smooth. It is super soft. And I am going to try it out by making some fingerless mitts because it's so good at not pilling. I thought that would be a good use for these two colors, and I'm really excited about that. So check that out. And once I knit up the mitts, then I will tell you more about it, but I think I'm going to enjoy knitting with it a lot. It's really, really soft and smooth. And it does have a nice balanced ply, excellent stitch definition. It's going to be awesome. So that's Louet Gems. Hogwarts at Ravelry. This rotation ends December 16th, so there's only about 2 weeks left. Having a lot of fun with that. I still have the Epic Knit Along on my board. Don't forget about that and post in the chatter thread. I am behind on prizes. I realized the other day I forgot to do the last quarter prizes, so I'm just going to wait since it's already pretty much December till the end of this quarter and just lump them all together for the last two. I apologize for that. I have also kind of run out of prizes, so I kind of have to get some more, but I will do that. Blaine Fleece and Fiber, we're doing a knit along for the Project Peace pattern. It's a cowl pattern by Christina Campbell. And what that is you knit the 4 pattern repeat for like 21 days and be, you know, mindful and peaceful and calm and quiet during this crazy holiday season. So that will be fun. So I have wound up my yarn. I'm using some Knit Picks Hawthorn in this nice gray kettle dye. And that's because I bought like 4 skeins of that a long, long, long time ago to make a sweater, which is never going to happen. So this required sock yarn. It was suggested to be tonal or solid, and it was over the yardage for a usual sock yarn. It's like $4.50 to $5.50. No, it might have even been more than that because a lot of sock yarns are $4.62 and that doesn't quite cut it. I was going for the $5.50 though. So I had plenty of yardage here. I like the color, and because most of my sock yarns are really striped or variegated or crazy, so I figured I would just use this because I'm probably never going to make that sweater. I don't even remember what that sweater was called. It was some Japanese word, and it was the lace sweater where you knit it all and there was no seaming because it had to do with Japanese calligraphy and that it was only one stroke. So it was only one thing. I don't remember what it was called. You probably know what I'm talking about. But I'm never going to knit that, much less wear it. Look at me. So it's like, you know what? Just pull that yarn out and use it for a cowl because you actually wear that. So that's what I'm going to do. Not that there's anything wrong with knitting things that you don't wear, because I do it often, but just, you know, if you need the yarn and you like it and you want to use it, just use it. We did the ornament swap on my board, which was a lot of fun. Packages should be arriving soon. I will post on the board because I just wanted to see if people wanted to do it again next year. We didn't have a ton of participants, which is fine. If the same 4 people want to do it again next year, we'll do it again next year. That's absolutely fine. So that's that. Let's see. No new podcasts to talk about. I do have some Ravelry patterns for you, and since I haven't recorded in quite a while, I have some more to talk about. However, if you've watched the show before, you know my camera only records 29 minutes. And I'm running close to that time. I have a timer up on my computer. So I'm going to pause here and come back to do the rest of the show. Alright, on with the rest of the show. Ravelry patterns. I do have some Ravelry patterns for you today. I will not smash my tablet on the desk this time. I don't even know if you heard that, but I did. Let's see. I have That Nice Stitch by Stitch Nerd Designs. It is a cowl pattern. It is free, and it is a very nice stitch. So let me find, this picture looks good. So it's a long, it looks like a long cowl that you can wrap around a few times. It's got this really cool lacy eyelet stitch pattern that biases across. Looks really cool. Looks like fingering weight yarn, but I don't know. Yep, sock yarn. Like I said, it's free. It looks like you need to graft the end, because there's one in progress right there. But that's a really cool stitch pattern. The next one is the Swirled Ski Cap by Caps for Kids. This is pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of soft serve ice cream. That is a really cool kids pattern. I'd wear it myself. I don't know if they let you make that size or give you this, you can figure it out with the stitch count, but it's pretty cool. And that one is also free. I don't know if I just said that. It calls for an Aran weight yarn. Probably also worsted or heavy worsted. And the next one is the Sugar Twist Knit Stocking by Patons. That is also free. Although at this point in time, it takes worsted. Patons Classic Wool is what was used for these samples. You might have wanted to start it already if you want it for this Christmas, because it's got a detailed cable pattern on it. But that's pretty cool. It's a really nice country, if you have a nice country themed living room with a fireplace, that would be really cool. Those are your Ravelry patterns. Let's see, bullet journal. I don't even think I showed it on the last one. First of all, I am about exactly halfway through this notebook. And I'm debating whether or not I should get a new notebook for 2017, because I started this one in June, and if I'm halfway through, then theoretically I could fit a year in one book, right? I don't know. The problem I'm finding is I would like to get purple again, because everything I buy is purple. I bought this one for $19.50 last year. It is now $31. Why? I don't know, but several colors are like 30 bucks. I did find it for $19.50 at another store, but I don't know if shipping, if it's going to end up being close to the same. Anyway, I just don't know. I could get a black one for the 20 bucks, but whatever. I don't know. I don't know, I'm still debating that. I had fun with it though. Like this was September. That was my September calendar. October, I'm getting better at my calendars. October was fun too. I had a nice Halloween theme. I didn't do much to my calendar in October though. And November, so I'm having fun with that. I have to do my December calendar today. I did put the dots on it already. What I do is I dot out in pencil. That's how I get the days right and everything, and then I draw the lines afterwards, and then I can erase the pencil. So I've started doing that. I was still doing like my November tracker and goals. I don't know how well I did on my goals, but, and then I just do my weekly, I had a fun weekly, yeah, this one. Then I just do my weekly spread. This was a fun quote. Don't let idiots ruin your day. That works very well for me for work. Because I talk to a lot of them. But yeah, it's going well. I did find, I really like the washi tape on the top, like I had on some of these, but I started to find that the top was getting thicker, which wasn't a big deal, but when I was writing on some pages, they wouldn't like sit flat all the time because the top was really thick, but I don't know. So I don't know if I'm going to do the washi tape anymore. As you saw in November, I stopped doing the washi tape and just did more lettering and stuff, but so far so good. I do think I'm probably going to get another book for 2017. And then just use the rest of this one for practice or whatever, but yeah, because I think I can fit the whole year. I don't want to do another half year, then I'm always going to be half and half throughout the book. So I think I will get another one. Maybe I'll get another color. I don't know. I can't. My first bullet journal was purple. I had the Moleskine, and then I got this one, so I don't know. I'll see. But also, for that, I started going through some, like, not really goals, they're kind of goals, but spinning things I want to do, like roll eggs, or, you know, particular drafts, or, you know, other things like that, or combining fibers together and stuff. So I was trying to make a whole long list so that next year when I'm like, oh, what do I want to spin? I can look at that list and pick something to do. Also for 2017, I wanted to talk about the podcast. I am going to continue. But I am very much enjoying the once a month. So let me know what you think. I am debating length of time though, because usually when I do once a month, it ends up being longer because I didn't just record like 2 weeks ago, so the time ends up being longer. I would like it to be under half an hour. It's just easier for me because then it's one file on the camera. It's just a lot easier to edit and process and everything. So given that, if I were to do once a month in about half an hour, I would probably have to cut some stuff out. If I did though, I was thinking like books I'm reading and TV shows I'm watching and stuff like that. So I would still have FOs, spinning, any new acquisitions, you know, stash enhancements, designing, Ravelry patterns and stuff like that. And then maybe if I have time left over, then I'll talk about whatever. But let me know what topics you like, what you don't care about, if you'd like to see more of something. For example, in spinning, I do keep a spinning journal. It's not extremely detailed, but I do look up the breed in the Fleece and Fiber source book. I take some notes about it. There's usually a sample of the fiber in there. I make notes about how I spun it, you know, which wheel I spun on, which ratios, you know, things I noticed while I was spinning the fiber, characteristics of the fiber, things like that. So for example, if I spun up a skein, instead of just going, here's my skein, I spun it like this, blah, 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 I could tell you more about the breed or something like that. So I'm cool with stuff like that too. Or whatever. Or, you know, I could probably even get some videos of me spinning and, you know, things like that to add. So let me know. For knitting, I don't know that I could do more than show FOs, but whatever, we can see. I could maybe go into if I used a particular bind off or cast on or something like that, show you that or something like that. So let me know what you think and what you really want me to keep and what you don't really care for and things like that, because I would like to kind of, you know, get it figured out before 2017. So on the thread for this episode, I'll put in some questions and you can answer them there. But I am preferring the once a month, to be honest with you. Let's see, arts and crafts. I haven't been doing anything else. Are you surprised? I am not. Reading. I'm still on Discovery of Witches. However, on my Kindle, I'm at like 92%. So that should be done, maybe not, probably not today, because I really read at work mostly. Sometimes I read in bed, but Wool by Hugh Howey, that one I kind of stopped. I think I was like halfway through, so I have to get back to that one. I have been listening to some books while spinning, and I went back to the Dresden Files series, so I read book 3 now, which I think was Grave Peril, and right now I'm on book 4, which is Summer Night, Night with a K. And those are awesome. And Jim Marston, I hope that's his last name, Marster. I think I did this the last time I talked about them. Is an excellent narrator. He was on Buffy, and he was also on Doctor Who, I think. He was the bad guy in like the Bad Wolf thing, I think. I think so. I think that was him. TV. I finally finished up The Last Ship. That was actually a while ago. I started watching Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency on BBC, which is excellent. It's got Elijah Wood in it, and it's really good. I'm enjoying it a lot. I guess that's based on Douglas Adams' book, which I've never read, but now I want to. He's the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy author. I've been watching Designated Survivor with Kiefer Sutherland because I really like him, so I figured I would check it out, and that is a really good one as well. Falling Water, which is on USA, which is a really bizarre concept, but it's a really good show. It's not really creepy. I don't want to call it creepy, but it is like dark and mysterious and weird. Secrets and Lies. That's another one I started recently, which, by the way, thought I started it at the beginning. apparently I'm on season 2, and there was a whole first season that I was unaware of. When I started, I was just, scrolling through Comcast or something, and I was like, oh, that looks good. I forget his first name. I want to say Michael Ealy. He was on Almost Human with Carl Urban. He's the black guy, but he's got these striking blue eyes. He's really handsome. He's the main character in Secrets and Lies, and I was like, oh, I like him, I'll check that out, so I started watching it, and the way the second season started, it seemed like the beginning of a show, so I thought that's what it was, and then as I was looking into it, I was like, oh, this is season 2. So I've never watched season 1. Son of Zorn is really funny. I thought that was gonna be dumb when I first saw it, saw the trailers for it and the commercials. I thought it was gonna be really dumb. It's actually really funny. Lucifer, I'm a little behind on. Gotham, I'm a little behind on. The Fear the Walking Dead finale was a long time ago. I think I skipped over TV, like the last 2 episodes, so. The Walking Dead started again. I have nothing to say about that. My husband and I are 2 episodes behind now, and he told me the other day that he doesn't care if I watch it by myself, so I don't know if he's done with the show or what. I will continue to watch it, but it used to be something that we would do together. And that's fine, whatever, I don't really care. But we do now have Ash versus Evil Dead together because I started watching it. And he's always been a fan of Evil Dead. And he sat down a few times while I was watching Ash versus Evil Dead, and he's like, this is really good. And I was like, I know! And the other day, he was in the living room, but he didn't really care what we watched. And I said, oh, do you care if I watch Ash? Because I was now on season 2, like in the middle, and I knew he only watched like the first 3 episodes of season 1 or something, and he was like, no, I don't care. So I watched those, and to me, this show is so good that it's 30 minutes long, and it feels like 5 minutes have gone by. That's when you know a show is good. When you start watching the show, and the next thing you know is the credits, and you're like, oh, what happened? That was not half an hour. That's when I know I really, really like a show. So I watched like 3 episodes in a row, and then he was like, oh, did you want to watch something else? And I was like, no, I don't care. And he was like, oh, I'm going to restart season 1 from the beginning. And I was like, okay. And I think I came in here and I spun for a little while, and then I went back out in the living room and continued to watch it with him. So he got caught all the way up, and now we watch it together. So that's fun. But yeah, he doesn't really care about The Walking Dead anymore at the moment, I guess. I don't know. One of his work friends disowned him because he was not watching it right now, so she's like, I can't talk to you. So we'll see how that goes, but maybe tonight even, because today's my day off, so maybe when he gets home tonight we'll catch up on it. I don't think so, though, because actually I just talked to him on the phone a little while ago, and he sounds a bit frazzled with his day, so I don't know how he's going to be when he gets home, but we'll see. Maybe I will go watch it after I record. I don't know. Movies, I already said I went to the theater and saw Doctor Strange. Another thing, I've seen it before, but I just realized it's on Amazon Prime, is Boondock Saints. Speaking of The Walking Dead, Norman Reedus. And I haven't seen that in a long time, so I think I might go watch that this afternoon, because I would like to see that again. That was a really good one. And I think that's it for this episode, so I thank you for joining me. Like I said, please post your thoughts, suggestions, comments, whatever, on this episode thread for what you would like to see or not see or whatever for 2017. But I think I'm definitely leaning towards continuing to record once a month because that's just working very well for me. Also in the past, like every 2 weeks, because I work a 4 on 2 off schedule, they land kind of weird. You know, oftentimes I would be like, oh, I should really record today. And I'm like, but I have this and this and this. So it was starting to become a chore, which isn't good. But the once a month thing, by the time the month has passed, then I want to record again. It doesn't feel like I should or I have to. I want to. So that's working out a lot better. So let me know what you think. And if I don't record in December, or if I do it after the holidays, I hope you all have a wonderful holiday and enjoy yourselves and have lots of happy knitting time and spinning time. And thank you again for joining me. Happy knitting and spinning.